love this car. Why do I love this car? It has very low profile tyres, as standard. It's got reasonably firm suspension, but not too firm, but it's great on these sort of twisty roads that I live quite close to a lot of twisty roads, so it's really good for me. That's four-wheel drive, so it's never lost traction at all. It's never lost traction for me. So they're really popular in New Zealand because New Zealand's got a reasonable amount of gravel roads, I guess. So, and the all-wheel drive system there is quite useful. When it's wet, it's a bit better. It's like more useful. It does feel very stable. This car hasn't got a tremendous amount of power. It's only like 140, 150 horsepower. So putting that power down on the road, again, you don't really need four-wheel drive. But, I used to have dogs, and if I went and parked in a field somewhere or on a sort of track, it was always good having the confidence to know that, I'd be able to get out of that field, even if it was torrential rain, the four-wheel drive system would get me out. But other than that, it just gives you that stability. It sort of pulls it round the corners, not in a massively electronic way. I'm not even sure that it has much in the way of electronic stability management. It really just it's just the four-wheel drive, the front wheels bringing it round, and the back wheels giving you some push. And the way that four-wheel drives give you that sort of cornering ability. I guess it adds to a bit of weight and it reduces the efficiency, so by about 13%. So I'd get more miles per gallon if I wasn't driving an all-wheel drive estate, but yeah, I found it quite useful. But the good thing about it is that it's just really solidly built. Yeah, some people say it's a bit plasticky, but those plastics are kind of really solid. They just haven't got a lovely finish like some cars. But I've never had any worries about putting the dogs in the car or putting my kids put their feet all over the dashboard, and it really doesn't make much difference at all. It's got quite aggressive styling, which I do quite like. The large air intake in front is useful though. It's really useful because it the main engine weight of the engine, the main engine block, the large metal part of the engine is on the bottom, and they've kept the lighter water cooling section at the top. So that's why the air intake is at the front and quite large, or at the top of the engine, at the front. It sucks in all that air and cools the radiator which sits at the top of the engine. So it is useful, and it gives the car quite a low centre of gravity, much more than you'd think given the height. It's a bit higher than a BMW 3 Series, and possibly a bit higher than a 5 Series as well. But you really feel like all the weight is on the bottom of the car. It's not really all the weight is on the bottom of the car, and that really helps with its stability around corners. Plus you've got that shaft for the all-wheel drive system going to the back wheels, which is quite heavy on the bottom of the car as well. What else do I love about the car? The practicality. It's got good boot space. It's got great pulley handle things. So if you're at the back of the car and you want the seats to fold down, you don't have to go around the side of the car. You can just pull the handles and it'll pull the seats down, and then you get the full boot space. As I say, I quite like the aggressive styling. It does mean that people either race you, or if they're in front of you, often they'll go a bit faster, which is no big deal, no problem for me. I think, you know, they should make a bit of decent headway. But obviously it's not a very powerful car, so it probably looks a bit more powerful than it is. So the economy is pretty good. It's between about 46 and 49 miles per gallon generally get out of it in mixed driving conditions. I have got higher than 50 miles per gallon if you're just doing motorways, but not very often, not since I first got it, and I was driving a little bit more frugally. But it never gets to match my old Passats that you could quite easily get 60 miles per gallon from. On the plus side, it is really the bulletproof in terms of it's never let me down, it's never broken down. The only thing that's gone wrong has been, you know, not a major issue. It does have this DPF filter light that comes on, which is a bit annoying, so if you don't do sort of a long journey every week, it can be a bit of an issue. So usually it's an issue in the summer, like this, and it's, I don't know why that is, but you generally, if you drive for half an hour down a motorway, the light clears and everything's back to normal. But if you do a lot of short journeys, especially in the summer, it could be an issue. Something to do with the catalytic converter getting up to temperature, or DPF filter getting it up to temperature to get rid of the soot and diesel build-up in the car. This 2010 version hasn't got the latest sort of connectivity. It's just got a 6 CD auto changer. It has got Bluetooth for your phone, but it doesn't really work with Spotify, so I've just got one of those sort of £18 cigarette lighter dongles that I attach in and then play the music through my phone, from my phone through the radio, or through the Bluetooth that turns it into a radio signal. It works really well though, so I don't really miss, and I use my phone for navigation as well, so again I don't really miss the satellite navigation systems. It's got a really nice sunroof that even after 10 years works flawlessly. You can like tilt it up, or you can pull it back as much as you want. That gives you a bit of flexibility. There's air conditioning, obviously full climate control. I really like this car because it's different. You just don't see many. If I see one coming the other way, I have been known to wave, because you just don't see many of them about. It's not like an Audi or BMW, which there are just so many of and outrageous. I really think this is a really good alternative. It really depends what you want, I guess. I guess now my kids are getting bigger, maybe I would consider a bit more of a luxury sort of interior. There's a little bit less hard wearing. But you can see again why people in New Zealand, or someone who with a farm, or you know, a bit of a rural lifestyle, like actually really rural lifestyle, would drive one of these. And obviously in the snow, we had snow last winter, and I had a lot of confidence to go up and down the hills around where I live. I did see people losing traction completely and having to stop and abandon their cars, whereas this would just carry on driving up the snow on a hill. I mean, does this mean I would give this car up? Wouldn't give this car up for a BMW, a nice BMW with a lot of power? Yeah, I can say that. But at the same time, I do think I might regret it, because of, you know, this car is so reliable. I just enjoy that sort of reliability for a family car. I just think that's really important, and a lot of reviewers don't seem to sort of rate that highly enough, I don't think. It's just like a footnote at the end of a review, whereas I think it's, it's one of the most important things.